Yo, it's Market Scraper. So I see two stocks right now in the stock market that I would consider easy money. And what exactly do I mean by easy money? Well, Jeremy from Financial Education a year or two ago was talking about Facebook as the most easy money in the stock market. So Facebook at that time, maybe it was a little less than 170 a share. And so did that mean that Facebook would double in the next year or so or a couple of years? No, it meant that it would go up, probably up higher than the S&P 500. It was kind of just more guaranteed, a for sure thing, somewhat more a conservative play, but you would think that this is going to appreciate over the next year or two pretty definitively. And just one other thing, if you want to help support this content, don't forget to smash down on that like button and subscribe to this channel. And in addition, feel free to check out my wife's Etsy shop. She makes these handcrafted beeswax lotion bars that are great for moisturizing your skin and make good holiday gifts. Okay, let's get back into this. And keep in mind that none of this is financial advice. This is just some random guy on YouTube drawing some stick figure lines on a chart talking to you guys. And so what are the stocks that I'm talking about? I see Salesforce is the first one. And I've been talking about Salesforce for quite some time. Ever since the news came out for Salesforce acquiring Slack, I've been talking about Salesforce more often. I've talked about Salesforce in the past as well, and it's been a holding of mine for quite some time. But because of this acquisition and because of Salesforce crashing to a very attractive level, I've ramped up my position very significantly. And this crash that has happened has posed an amazing buying opportunity, in my opinion. There's a few ways to play this, but let's get into the other stock that I'm interested in as my second easy play in the stock market right now, and that's Johnson and Johnson. Johnson and Johnson is a top-tier dividend investment play. This stock is one of the favorites among dividend investors. And so I see this stock as having a very high floor and a significant potential in the near future because of some catalysts that are happening. But in addition, this stock is just a very solid play. They are also working on a vaccine. This is one of the plays that are happening in the near future. And the thing that they're doing, which is a little bit different than what Moderna and Pfizer are doing, Moderna and Pfizer are doing more of a mRNA play. This is kind of a more newer type of vaccine. What Johnson and Johnson is doing is they have DNA inside of an adenovirus, and this is something that has been done in the past. So this could bode in terms of confidence to the masses. In addition, this is probably only going to be a single dose vaccine, which is also attractive in terms of you don't have to get 2 doses of vaccines. And so there are a lot of implications. So basically, the availability of this vaccine and the masses might prefer this vaccine over the other vaccines on the market. And that could have huge implications. Obviously, there could be a lot of hurdles and stumbles. This vaccine has also not been approved yet. We don't know what the percentage of effectiveness is as well. So there's a lot of unknowns with this. But even if this vaccine doesn't pan out, the floor is pretty high with Johnson and Johnson. So let's look at Salesforce for a moment here in terms of the stock. So we saw this huge crash here. So what caused this crash to happen was the announcement to acquire Slack, but in addition, essentially the guidance for the following year, which is pretty weak. But however, the catalyst I see with this stock here particularly is a few different things that are happening right now. We have one, the earnings that comes up in the future. I think we're going to smash earnings, and this is going to be a catalyst to propel the stock to the upside. I see a stock price easily in 2021 of going not necessarily to 300, but close to 300. We'll be trading in this channel, and maybe we'll break out of this channel at some point, but resuming to all-time highs is something that's extremely possible and very likely in 2021. If not 2022. But basically, there is significant upside. Again, these aren't plays I'm saying that are necessarily going to double, but they are stocks that are going to go up significantly and beat the S&P 500 in my opinion. And the next thing that I see here on a technical perspective here is that we are currently sitting and chilling in this gap right here. So it is very likely that the next thing that we do is go all the way up to the low here, which is $238.70, and fill this gap right up before potentially going higher or having a pullback. And I talked about in my previous videos for Salesforce is that it's very likely we retest the lows here, if not go even lower. And I would definitely like that to happen. I'd load up more on this stock. But more likely at the moment, it looks like that the lows might be in and we'll be heading towards the top of this trend. We'll see what happens when we fill this gap though. And for Johnson and Johnson here, there's a few different things. I drew a couple lines here. We had a trend to the downside here that we broke out right over here. The other thing that I'm looking at here is the all-time highs right here, which is sitting around $157 or so, $157.70, I believe. So this is something that I think that we're going to go to that all-time highs, most likely, in my opinion, break out of that all-time highs. If we have positive vaccine news, we're definitely going to break this all-time high. And we have this nice structure here of higher highs and higher lows forming here. So I think that we're going to break out of this. And I do see upside to potentially in the 170s or even 180 around that level. And I think that we're going to go up to this area here and then consolidate here for the foreseeable future. We've been in this pattern here for about 5 years or so. And this is another thing that's bullish for this particular stock, is that we haven't been going pretty much anywhere for 5 years, but we are going in the right direction here. And this is looking pretty bullish to me. And we'll see how this goes. And the floor is pretty high as well. So the risk to reward is pretty nice, because I see that the low here, that we won't go too much lower than 149 or 148. I don't see us going much lower than that in the near future. So that's the downside, and the upside is significantly higher than that. And keep in mind that both of these stocks are very large cap companies. We're talking about Johnson and Johnson sitting at $300 billion, and then we're talking about Salesforce, which is around $200 billion in market cap. And one other thing to note about Salesforce is that ARK Invest, or Kathy Woods from ARK Invest, is investing in Salesforce in their ARKW fund. And you can see right here that it's their 48th most investment with about $51 million worth in Salesforce. So they're going to be only adding to that. And you can see here that they completely removed their Slack investment and fully invested that, it looks like, into Salesforce. And I would not be surprised if they continue to add to Salesforce and make this a significantly larger position in this fund. So that's something that's pretty cool. And I'm going to end this right here. So I hope you guys got some value from this content. And if you haven't already, smash that like button, subscribe to this channel for more content like this, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. If you want to support this channel and get an amazing brokerage, here's my referral link to Etrade. I also included in the description down below. And Etrade is just an amazing brokerage. I definitely like Robinhood as well, but Etrade is definitely something I feel more comfortable with promoting for newer investors and for experienced investors. It's just a solid platform with a lot of resources. I'm really into Robinhood as well myself, but I know that it's easy to not be as disciplined with Robinhood, so I feel like you gain your discipline with Etrade, with that platform, and then go into Robinhood and knock yourself out.